Okay, guys, so this is the video that I really wanted to get down into. This is the Innocence Project. And I've had my problems with the Innocence Project as well as I've loved what they've done. Now, I understand more as to why they do what they do. Instead of helping a lot more smaller cases, they go for a lot more extravagant ones. And, well, let's face it, it makes them more money, gets them more publicity, and allows them to do their job better. So I'm not super upset about that. I'm not going to get into exactly why I would be upset with that. Maybe I'll get into it later. But, sorry, guys, I'm getting a little, little bit of allergy since it's been cooling off. But, yeah. It's, their politics that I'm really disturbed by. Really, really disturbed by their politics. And I'll explain why. Let's go ahead and let them gaff up. Well, I guess not gaff, but just be silly.
I think this might be a good time to talk about this because she might be the vice presidential nominee. What specifically did she do where there was someone who was innocent or someone who was wrongfully convicted?
Let me give a caveat.
Okay.
Caveat is that I know I'll catch shit from some people that say you have to do everything you can to make sure that Trump is not elected. And I will say that even she's an improvement as vice president if he does pick her. Anything's an improvement in my mind. So with that caveat...
That's amazing. That is amazing to me. They are so full of TDS. They're willing to get Kamala Harris in. I wonder if what they can say, what they're going to say right here, I'm going to play it. I wonder if what they say right here, can it all be applied to Trump? And if not, what the hell kind of dope are you guys smoking?
It would take this podcast and 4 more to go through. She fiercely fought wrongful convictions and was shamed by judges when she was district attorney in San Francisco. What was the case? The Gage case?
George Gage.
The George Gage case, where her prosecutors hid evidence and they tried to protect. Once she knew that there was evidence that was withheld from defense attorneys, once she should have known, in my opinion, that people were innocent, she tried to protect those convictions. Why? Because she wanted to continue winning. She blocked DNA. She.
That's exactly right. She wanted to continue winning. She knew. She understood fully. And she covered up evidence. Left people locked up. I have a question. In the last 30 years, how many presidents have done any kind of prison reform in any way, shape, or form? Donald Trump in 2 years. 2 years ago. That was the last president in 30 years to do any kind of prison reform. That's something I figured you guys would have been able to appreciate. And yet, you're willing to throw away your vote to someone who happily locks up people who smoke pot, people of color just because of, color of their skin. You'd happily vote for that just because you have TDS. That's something you all, oh man, if you all could just share this video. Seriously, share this video to the Innocence Project. I'm disgusted with them. Name one thing Trump has done legitimately to, in any way, shape, or form, harm any of the work you've ever done. Name one thing he's done to not support your work. It's crazy. Absolutely insane for them to just be like, well, she'd be an improvement, even though, she does horrendous, terrible things and ruins people's lives. Trump's still we just don't like him. Just don't like him. Evil Cheeto man. Are you serious? How childish can you be? How insanely childish can you be? That's just crazy. What? All because in Trump country, they tried to deport a guy who illegally came over who was accused of murder by bad people? Early in the podcast, they had this kid who gets blamed for all these murders. And they keep trying to convict him because of evil, evil Trump people. Which is something that Trump had nothing to do with at all. But the moment came whenever he got freed and he got exonerated of all these charges. Well, Trump's people tried to deport him. Well, he's an illegal immigrant. He can't be here. He never should have came to this country illegally, but he was running from the cartel, so then he should have applied for asylum. Why didn't he do that? I don't believe he was running from the cartels at all. You know why I don't believe that story? Because he didn't do any of the legal things he needed to get out. Mexico. They take people, sorry, I say cartels. I don't know that it was necessarily cartels. This dude was like from somewhere in South America. I forget where it was, Honduras or Venezuela. I'm not entirely sure. I could rewind the video, but then I'd lose my spot. I'm not going to do that. But he was from South America. He fled all the way up to Mexico and then was fleeing all the way up to the United States to escape the people that were after him. I don't believe for 1 second that he could not have made it to a point where he could apply for asylum and wait in Mexico and those people come all the way up there after him. I don't believe it for a second. Maybe it's true, but I'm pretty sure he could have survived somewhere and been hiding pretty well to find somebody in the entire country of Mexico, to find just somebody that, oh, what, all of a sudden he just cannot be touched here in America at all? Are you kidding me? If the cartels were really after him like that, they would have found him here. Absolutely. Absolutely, they would have found him here and done away with him. The only difference is the people who would have done it would have actually gotten caught and had consequences, but that's not going to stop them. So I think it's a bullcrap story. I don't believe it. I would like evidence for it. You know, Innocence Project, I know you guys want to just go off of belief, but don't you guys mainly go off evidence when it comes to these things? Maybe don't be hypocritical on that. But anyway, because Trump tried to deport an illegal immigrant, they're mad. Because, you know, anybody should just be able to walk into America. You know why Trump puts that wall up? I probably won't get into it in this video. But more or less is to prevent kids from being taken over the border. Which happens a lot. Happens a whole lot. And once they go over that border, it's over. Now, you mean to tell me that the cartel would be able to find someone in Mexico, but somehow we, with the most sophisticated of intelligence, technology, all of that, we can't? Yeah, very, very believable. Very believable that the cartel have that much power, or whatever other gang down there. They have so much more technology and better intelligence than us. Yeah, I believe that. Ridiculous statements. But to want to put somebody, it's not even about defending Trump, okay? It's fine. If you don't like Trump, don't vote for the guy. But to be on here and to legitimately be a part of the Innocence Project and say that Kamala Harris is someone you would vote for? You can't be a part of the Innocence Project and state that. You can't possibly be that stupid of a human being to sit there and be like, I will vote and put the person in power who has harmed what I do for a living the majority of my life. And you know what? I'm going to vote for the person who's going to even make it worse. Are you serious? That is so stupid. I mean, that's legitimately like being a billionaire and voting in a socialist for them to take all your money away. That's a special kind of stupid because that billionaire could have just simply donated all his money anyway and not been forced. But some people are into being forced to do stuff, you know? You think Kamala Harris is going to legalize marijuana? You think she's going to end up stopping all these wrongful convictions? You think she's going to do prison reform? Kamala Harris has stood by her own decisions and believes that the justice system works perfectly. Amazingly stupid comment.
Went to great lengths to try to block access to DNA for people that were accused of or convicted of felonies. Think about it. We're talking about a $12 DNA test to see if the biological material from a crime that has been preserved is actually the defendant's, right? She blocked access to that. I mean, the list,
How do you block access to something like that? That seems like that should be a right.
yeah, it seems like it should be a right, but in a lot of states, there's legislation that says you cannot get access to it, and the rationale behind it is that it'll open up a floodgate of criminal defendants asking for the biological evidence in their case to be tested. I mean,
That's the last thing we would want is
Yeah.
more innocent people being freed. So what?
What a great argument. What a great president. What a fantastic president she would make. Really? Be an improvement, huh? I just want to see what he says here.
What was her justification for this?
You know, when she's asked for her justification of it, it's always been on a debate stage, and she'll always default to, I stand by my record as a prosecutor, and she's never had an explanation.
The highlight, the
see.
marijuana one that you just highlighted there?
She stood by criminalizing marijuana in this state.
Now, listen, what we can hope is that she's certainly been saying all the right things lately. I don't know what to believe, to be honest.
Well, it's because she wants to be the president.
Well, okay, fair enough. I mean, I like to believe that people can evolve, and I hope that her viewpoints have evolved. Now she supports legalization.
Oh, yeah, since she came out and said that she, was in college and smoking weed and listening to Tupac. So while she was smoking weed, she was locking up people who were smoking. Do you believe a person like that can change? Do you believe a person like that could, honest to God, change? Somebody that comes home every day, does drugs, and then goes out into the public and punishes other people for doing drugs. Really? She's one of the people who came out and was like, this rap music is the devil music, and it's going to get your kids graffitiing all over the walls. And she's listening to Tupac. Come on! Are you insane? Unbelievable. I believe people can change all of a sudden very last minute. No, you're hoping she changed. You're hoping she changed because you have TDS. That's what's really going on. You're so anti-Trump that I guarantee you haven't looked into one thing Trump has passed. I bet you don't even know about any of his prison reform because you refuse to look into it. Or you're actually dumb enough to be like, well, this isn't good enough. This isn't good enough. Well, what president has even done it in the past 30 years? And yet you believe we're in an existential crisis for having him as president. We have the left wing mobbing, doing terrible, terrible things, and what, we're supposed to just give in to them because they throw a fit? That's the existential crisis? The left wing's throwing too much of a fit this year, guys. We got to go ahead and just hand them the election just so, we don't have to deal with their violence. Sound argument.
I believe, but the fact is, it's impossible to ignore. And I hope Biden picks someone else personally, but we'll see. And
Biden ain't picking anything.
I will.
They're doing it for him at this point.
Well, I'll support him no matter what who he picks.
Well, you know what? I'll just. Biden, he's completely incompetent. He's not a good president or anything, but I'll support him, whoever he picks, whoever he picks at all. And, it's literally him saying, why are you so focused on the vice president? Well, let me explain. Because he knows Biden is a worthless skin. He's just a worthless bag of bones. He's not voting for Biden. He's not actually supporting Biden. He's supporting Biden's vice president, and he knows it. And he thinks that's acceptable. He thinks that's acceptable. He thinks Kamala Harris, who has done more to damage his work than anybody in office right now, damage his entire supposed dream, his, I don't know what to call it, career? Everything he's ever worked for. Kamala Harris would absolutely be one of the worst people ever to get into office. And he supports that. Imagine being that dumb to actually vote against your own business.
If he picks her, so be it, because I believe we're in an existential crisis and we need to.
Did you see the
Here,
result?
look at this.
Then they cut off. They completely cut off it. Anyway, yeah, that's his show, more or less outing the Innocence Project unknowingly. He didn't exactly know that he was going to completely make them look like absolute morons. The rest of the podcast is great. I'm not going to lie. The rest of the podcast is great. I love their show on TV. I love the fact that they had disproven bite mark analysis. Now, there's a certain part of bite mark analysis that I think is fine whenever you bite a body that's been dead for a while. Probably could do that, but it's still a low chance. When you bite somebody who's freshly dead or still alive, the skin swells and it becomes impossible to tell if it's really a bite mark or not. And a lot of the times, like little tiny creatures will be attached to people, like in the process of them dying and stuff. It'll be eating away at their skin and it'll look like a bite mark. Or they got hit with a hammer or something and it just happened to swell up and have a bite mark pattern around it where the blood just kind of was under the skin. The bruise, it bruised up into a kind of a bite mark pattern. And then they convict people because they can line their teeth up to them. And they don't even line up the entire, like, it's kind of funny because a lot of the times they won't line up every single tooth to it. They'll line up like the two majority teeth and they'll be like, well, the reason why this tooth is off sideways because they were probably fighting or something like that. Or, it wasn't a perfect just bite, hold down, and then let go. It was just a quick like bite and they moved and stuff. So it's a little jagged and it's just like, maybe we shouldn't go off that. Maybe we should try to go off DNA always instead. I don't know. I really appreciated a lot of that stuff. But this is just pure stupidity. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. Please like, subscribe, and share. Please definitely ding that bell and share this video as much as you can. I'm going to be trying to make a couple videos. I think I'll explain that in the next video. So check into that, and I'll see you on the next one. Later.